Carolina Garcia, Executive Director of Legal Art. I see a lot of new faces here today, so it's great that we have more people. It's a great crowd. This is the most, I was saying that, I started this organization 4 years ago, and when I would first do this topic, it was like pulling teeth to get artists to come and listen to the subject matter. It's great that more and more of you are understanding that you can empower yourself in your career and learning these very important and vital and very, understandable ideas and tools you can use to strengthen your career and protect your work and protect your relationships with people that you come into contact through your work. So today we're going to cover a lot of subjects, nothing that deeply because we're going to go across a lot of stuff, but feel free to ask questions. It might be better to keep questions to the end so that Stewart can get through his talk and then save your questions for the end. I brought evaluations. I think that there's enough for everyone here. I would truly appreciate if you can answer the questions as thoughtfully as you can. It really helps me in designing programming in the future. So let me know what it is you guys are thinking and needing and how you felt about this program and what was good about it, what was weak about it, and that kind of thing. If you don't know about legal art, besides doing this educational program, SeminArt, we also have a legal aid program called Legal Link that by becoming a member of the organization, an artist is $30 a year, as an organization it's $45 a year, and you have endless access to the legal aid program. You can contact me with a legal problem, and we have a network of attorneys around the city who help artists, usually for bartering of artwork, for a host of legal issues, not just art-related, any legal issue you should have. So it's, we've helped hundreds of artists over the years, and everything from immigration to contracts to family law to anything. We also do clinics at the University of Miami, and then we also have a grant program and studio program. So check out our website if you didn't get the brochure that was on the table. It's legalartmiami.org, and of course feel free to come to me with any questions you may have. I wanted to introduce Stewart Merkin. He's a local attorney from Miami, been practicing in Miami for many years, very involved in the community on a number of fronts and many organizations, a great civic leader here and involved in the board of Locus projects. And it's his first time speaking for legal art, so it'll be nice when he comes back. And so without any further ado, I'll let Stewart take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you're to get a sneak preview of the Locust, so now you're getting a sneak preview of the schedule over now. We'll have another great exhibit next month. The other thing, I know that it's, you have something in the middle of summer, there's no dolphin game, there's no heat game, you get a good draw. So I thank you all for coming out. The only change I'm going to make than what Carolina said, I encourage questions during the program because I think it's better to have an interchange when we're talking about different subjects. And a lot of times you forget at the end what what was talked about at the beginning. And I do want to rely on you all because there's so many different things we can talk about as the law as it pertains to artists, that I do want to rely on you to be able to ask me questions because, or suggest topics. I have certain topics that we're going to be talking about, but I think that there's things that come to mind that you may know that I don't know, or questions that you may have that I don't even think are questions. Any question is a good question. So what I'm going to start with is, I just have a brief outline, and I have different topics that we can cover in more depth. The first thing that we should talk about is what kind of organization in terms of if you're an artist, whether you're a visual artist or a performing artist, and you're going to be doing something, what kind of organization do you want to set up? By that I mean, do you want to be a sole proprietorship, which everybody sitting here can be right now, or do you want to be a corporation? If you're going to be a corporation, you want to be, and all these terms I'm sure you've heard of, and you probably know what they are, and if you don't, just tell me, and I'll explain a little bit about what they are and how it pertains to you. If you're going to be a corporation, or if you're going to be the organization of choice, the organization du jour now, which is the LLC, the Limited Liability Company. Have any of you here formed any one of these entities? And as an example, what did you form?
Corporation.
And why did you form a corporation?
We just figured at the level that we were, because we have a place, it's a solo artist, we have a gallery, we're self-funded. We've gotten to a level that we feel we need to pay our taxes on a monthly basis.
Okay. And why did you choose a corporation rather than
Rather than the
LLC?
That's what I was advised by our accountant, who has stayed with us for 22 years.
And are you an S corporation? Or
Yes, we are.
Right. Who else here so far has formed an organization? What have you done?
It's corporations.
And
The reason is that I have two large public art contracts, and they require insurance, and they require, here's the thing, that it's better for me to be incorporated. However, it is very hard to keep up with a corporation and the expenses of the corporation.
when you say the expense, you mean the annual
The
fee?
expenses, I mean, accounting and legal fees, not legal, but accounting fees.
And why did you choose a corporation, say, for example, rather than a limited liability company? Any particular, a lot of times, because that's what the accountant said, or you may have done it years ago and the LLC wasn't very common then, so you just take it.
Frankly, I cannot tell you that I know the person.
And who else has formed an entity so far? A sub-S corporation. And you? An S corporation. It's interesting because I would say, and I form a lot of entities for a lot of different people every year, and I think I probably do more limited liability companies than corporations, probably 90 to 10, if you want to talk about percentages. And there's reasons for forming either of them. And you can probably get the benefits of forming an S corporation and a limited liability company in that you have the liability that you want if the company still are able to have the flow through of the profits and losses. There's no double taxation in the limited liability company or in the S corporation, sub-S you hear about, the limited liability company. So most of the time, most of the accountants now will probably recommend that we have a limited liability company. If you're a non-U.S. taxpayer, you'll probably have to have a limited liability company rather than an S corporation, because you're not going to be able to have an S corporation just because that's what the law is. And there's other restrictions that you have on these S corporations if you're having multiple investors in it. But for the most part, you'll probably end up doing a limited liability company. They're completely different animals, actually, from a legal standpoint. But once it's formed, you probably won't know the difference whether you have a limited liability company or an S corporation or a C corporation. You're just doing your thing. What questions do you have on the type of organization that the type of entity that you would have, or maybe no entity? Yeah.
Is it worth it to change from S corp to LLC if you already said it?
No. You can do it. Florida now allows you to do it for, and it's a very simple thing to do. And a lot of times, I mean, if you have the kind of business that you have investors in, sometimes the investors would rather have one form or the other. So you may want to change at some time. And now, it didn't used to be so easy, but now it's really simply filing a few things. There may be some horrendous tax issues when you make the change, but talk to your accountant about that, and they'll be able to tell you what kinds of things you would have to do in order to do that. And it's really not that expensive as far as the